morning, everybody. Please stand and join me in singing. We got a good thing going on around here. We got a good thing going on around here. You can see it on each and every face. There's a sweet, sweet spirit in this place. We got a good thing going on around here. We got a good thing going on. We got a good thing going on. We got a good thing going on. We got a good thing going on around here. We got a good thing going on around here. We got a good thing going on around here. We got a simple message, says so much, filled with happiness and love. We got a good thing going on around here. We got a good thing going on. We got a good thing going on. We got a good thing going on. We got a good thing going on around here. We got a good thing going on around here. We got a good thing going on around here. New and happy things, and every day we love to sing. We got a good thing going on around here. We got a good thing going on. We got a good thing going on. We got a good thing going on. We got a good thing going on around here.
Please be seated. Well, we have a good thing going on around here, that's for sure. Good morning and welcome to Unity of Columbia. And it's so great to see all of you here. We have plenty of people online. Please give them a wave. And we're reminded there is only one presence and one power expressing as me. Let's affirm that together. There is only one presence and one power expressing as me. Please tell your neighbor that. There is only one presence and one power expressing as me. Thank you. We gather here together today to know and understand the laws of life, which we also call the truth. And the fifth principle of unity tells us that it's not enough just to know the truth. We have to put it into practice. And so today we have a special guest with us, Bobby Bostic. Give us a wave, Bobby. And I'm really looking forward to his discussion with Kristin, who has been putting together the Courageous Conversation series for us. And I know that Bobby is a living, loving expression of the truth. And so today we say thank you for reminding us that we are spiritual beings and that we are living the truth. Let's stand and greet each other and say, I live my truth.
Everyone, please join me in singing. There are at least 100 ways. There are at least least 100 ways my good is coming to me. There are at least 100 ways my good is coming to me. There are at least 100 ways my good is coming to me. There are at least 100 ways my good is coming to me. At least 100 ways for me to receive. I embrace my good, and I do believe there are at least 100 ways my good is coming to me. There are at least 100 ways my good is coming to me. There are at least 100 ways my good is coming to me. There are at least 100 ways my good is coming to me. At least 100 ways for me to receive, and countless blessings that I now receive. There are at least 100 ways my good is coming to me. There are at least 100 ways my good is coming to me. There are at least 100 ways my good is coming to me. There are at least 100 ways my good is coming to me. My good is coming to me. My good is coming to me.
Good morning. You may be seated. My name is Bonnie, and I am your facilitator today. We're so grateful to all who contribute to this service, and we want to welcome everyone to Unity of Columbia. To you in our sanctuary and to you online, we are glad you've chosen to be with us today. We especially want to welcome our newcomers. Thank you for being here. The ushers have welcome packets if you're interested for you today. You can raise your hand or you can get on your way out. Today's reading is by George Bernard Shaw. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that has taken place. Please join me in affirming our vision, mission, and core values. Our vision is we celebrate a spiritually awakened world. And our mission is we inspire the awakening and practice of divine love in every heart. In addition, we celebrate our core values, knowing that we have come here to be spirit-centered and to express the values of love, peace, and connection. And now it's time for our children to gather in the front of the sanctuary for our children's moment.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Good morning, everyone. I'm on a different side today. That's kind of fun. So today I have a little story, and I'm going to pause the story at a certain point. We're going to talk about maybe what might happen next, okay? Okay. So it starts like this. There was a gardener who lived in a nice little cottage, and he had lots of plants in his house, and he had lots of nice plants outside of his house. And he had a little seed, and so he put a seed in a little tiny cup, like the size of a teacup, very small. And he took care of that seed, and he watered it. And slowly the seed grew roots, and it got bigger and bigger. And eventually the roots filled up the tiny little pot. And then the gardener thought, well, I have to transplant my little plant now because it's getting a little bigger. So he got a slightly bigger pot, and he put his little plant in the bigger pot. And once again, the plant grew and grew, and the roots filled up the whole pot till it couldn't grow anymore. So he got a bigger pot, and he took out that medium-sized plant now, and he put it into an even bigger pot. And what do you think happened? It grew until it filled up the bigger pot. That's right. The roots filled up that whole big pot.
I think I know what you should do. You should plant it outside.
Well, 1 second. Let's get there together. Okay. So he took his big plant and he put it in an even bigger pot, the biggest pot he could fit in his house. And the plant grew and grew and grew until the roots filled up the whole pot. And now he didn't have any bigger pots. So, what do you think he did, Danny?
Put it outside.
He thought, I'm going to have to take this plant outside because there's definitely some space out there, right? So he started moving the plant outside. How do you think the plant felt when it got moved outside? It spent its whole life inside his house. Thumbs up? He felt good? The plant felt good? Yeah, the plant did feel kind of nice. I mean, there's sunshine, there's wind, but the plant also felt a little nervous. It had never been outside. Ooh, suddenly there was a little breeze. My gosh, the temperature gets a little cold at night out here, right? So the plant was a little scared, and the plant thought, maybe I don't want to go outside. Maybe I'll just stay in that big pot that feels a little tight, but I'll just stay inside. But the gardener couldn't do that. Couldn't leave the plant inside. Why couldn't the gardener leave the plant inside? It was too big. And something else happens. Sometimes you bring that plant outside, and suddenly it can grow bigger than it could ever have gotten inside the little cottage. It grew really, really, really big, and in fact, it turned into a tree. Definitely couldn't have stayed inside his cottage, right? Yeah. But sometimes, just like our plant, sometimes when we have to do some big growing that's going to take us beyond our little safety of our little house or the safety of our little pot, it can feel a little uncomfortable. It can be a little scary. We're not sure exactly what's going to happen. Is a bird going to land on me? What's that like? You know? Are people going to try and climb my branches? That could be kind of scary. Will I break? Will I stay strong? But the plant did stay strong, and the plant grew bigger and stronger. Just as when we take our next step in growth, we grow bigger and we grow stronger. Okay? So our affirmation for today is, I am not afraid of growth. Okay? We'll say it together. I am not afraid of growth. And we'll bless our children. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are.
Little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
There are many volunteer opportunities here at Unity of Columbia. If you're interested in joining the AV team, please speak to Amy or let the office know. If you'd like to be an usher, there's space for someone new to be part of that team also. Contact the office, or you can speak to Rick Cantrell, waving over there. Today there is a potluck lunch after the service, so join us in the Friendship Hall for food and fellowship. And next Sunday, February 25th, is a book sale of Unity books, some brand new. You can grab a bargain. There'll be half price or even greater discounts to make room for new merchandise that'll be coming. So bring your money, be ready to Venmo. Come see the opportunities that await you next Sunday. Today's daily word is acceptance. The message or the affirmation is, I practice acceptance and find peace. In the past, I've resisted unwelcome situations and unwanted outcomes. Over time, I have learned that my resistance did little more than leave me agitated and unhappy. I've learned to trade resistance for acceptance. Accepting situations as they are does not mean I like what is happening, but it does mean I'm willing to be present to it without resistance or struggle. From that place, I'm better able to work toward creating better conditions for myself and for others. When I practice acceptance, I invite the presence of God to inspire and comfort me. I shift my attention from what might feel wrong to that which is always right, the absolute, unchanging goodness of God. From Philippians 4, verse 11, not that I am referring to being in need, for I have learned to be content with whatever I have.
Together, arm in arm, with peace in our hearts. We're gonna walk together, arm in arm, with peace in our hearts. We're gonna walk together, arm in arm, with peace in our hearts. We're gonna walk together, arm in arm, so our sisters and brothers won't come to any harm. We know we got peace in our hearts. We're gonna walk with every color and tribe, with peace in our hearts. We're gonna walk with every color and tribe, with peace in our hearts. We're gonna walk with every color and tribe, 'cause we're stronger together when we're on the same side. And we know we've got peace in our hearts. We're gonna walk for the earth and our children too, with peace in our hearts. We're gonna walk for the earth and our children too, with peace in our hearts. We're gonna walk for the earth and our children too, 'cause we need everyone to make the dream come true. And we know we've got peace in our hearts. We're gonna stare in the face of the hateful mind, with peace in our hearts. We're gonna stare in the face of the hateful mind, with peace in our hearts. We're gonna stare in the face of the hateful mind, 'cause all we gotta do is let our love light shine. Sing with us. All we gotta do is let our love light shine. All we gotta do is let our love light shine. Sing out. All we gotta do is let our love light shine. All we gotta do is let our love light shine. All we gotta do is let our love light shine. All we gotta do is let our love light shine. All we gotta do is let our love light shine. With peace in our hearts. With peace in our hearts. With peace in our hearts.
I have faith, I pray faith, I choose faith, I am faith. I have faith, I pray faith, I choose faith, I am faith. I have peace, I pray peace, I choose peace, I am peace. I have peace, I pray peace, I choose peace, I am peace. I have love, I pray love, I choose love, I am love. I have love, I choose love, I choose love, I am love. I have joy, I am joy, I choose joy, I am joy. I have joy, I pray joy, I choose joy, I am joy.
I invite you to become comfortable in your chair. Take a deep breath and relax into your seat, letting go of any body tension so that spirit can flow through us freely today as we choose peace, we choose love, we choose joy, and especially we choose freedom. And as I think about all of the things going on in the world today, I know that I can choose the thoughts and the feelings and the actions that I do every day. And so on this day, I say, I choose peace. I choose love. I choose joy. And think for a moment what your world would look like if you were choosing those every moment of every day. The true freedom of mind that comes when we are choosing love, joy, and peace, seeing that future for ourselves, knowing that thoughts held in mind produce after their kind, and with thoughts of peace, love, and joy, only peace, love, joy, freedom, happiness can follow. So in your mind, get a picture of your life, that life of happiness, love, peace, and joy, and start developing, using your great power of imagination, what that can look like for you today and going forward as we meditate in the silence. present moment, I invite you to think back on New Year's resolutions, on your white stone. What intention have you set for yourself this year? What intention has grown as you visualize that positive future for yourself today? And so it is.
I have love, I pray love, I choose love, I am love. I have love, I pray love, I choose love, I am love.
Good morning, friends. I'm very pleased to be here, and I'm most excited to have a very special guest with me today. In case you don't know, I have a friend with me, Bobby Bostic, and I'm going to let him tell you his story, but before we get to that, I have to tell you the story of how I came to know this gentleman. So as many of you know, I volunteered in the prisons for about a year, and I just kept always hearing this name, Bobby Bostic, Bobby Bostic. He's always doing these great things. He's persevering. He's working with the legal system to help make things better for other people. So he had a reputation that preceded himself before I met him. So I was at a conference about a year later, and he was the guest speaker. And his story just touched my heart in a very special way. And I went up to him afterwards, and we connected, and here he is several months later. So I was very blessed to have his acquaintance, and I'm very excited to introduce him to you. So I think it's best for Bobby to talk about his own story. And I want you to start at the beginning and then kind of work us through your life, what you want to share.
Real briefly, I was born in St. Louis, 1979, had a single mother. She had 4 kids. She was on welfare, so I grew up in extreme poverty. We faced a lot of adversity being poor in St. Louis at that time. And eventually that led to me, well, it started off innocent. I was pumping gas at the grocery stores, carrying bags, doing legal things for extra money because we didn't have much money. And then it led to me eventually stealing cars and things like that, selling drugs. And then at 16, I got involved in a robbery, which led me to be sentenced to 241 years. And that's how my journey started in prison. I went to prison at 16, and I was given 241 years for that robbery. Nobody was killed or seriously injured, but it was the 90s, and a lot of juvenile crime was going on, and as it is now, and they was cracking down, and I was one of the people that the judge, when she sentenced me, she told me I would die in prison, and she said she was making an example of me for other young people not to do what I was doing. And that journey started me into prison, and I went to prison. Of course, I was lost. I was young, didn't have no guidance, and with a life sentence, it kind of was nothing to live for, but I found hope in books. And the more that I read, the more when I first went to prison, I used to get high on marijuana every day, and that was still my sanctuary or way of getting away. But eventually I started reading books, and the more I read, the more I saw the world outside of my street corner. And the more I educated myself, the more I wanted out of life. And when I wanted more, I strove for more, but I had that elephant in the room. I got 241 years. What am I striving for? There's no way of getting out. And then to solidify that I wasn't getting out, every appeal that I filed, the courts denied it all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. My last appeal was denied in '03. So it was nothing after that for real. And then every other appeal, they kind of just rubber stamped it. They never told me why they denied it or nothing. So I really had no sufficient legal claims for the court to overturn my sentence. So I was stuck in prison. and everything in prison solidifies that too. It's a hopeless situation because I was at a maximum security prison where all the prisoners had 30 years or more, so it was a lot of violence, a lot of chaos and turmoil. And here it is, I'm trying to read books and hoping in an environment like this where everything around me is chaotic, including my cellmate. So I had to go within to find peace, and the more I read, of course, it led to philosophy. It led to all these things, but in the end, those things they can't answer the ultimate divine type of questions, right? And ultimately, it was faith that got me through because, as the scriptures say, is substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. There's no way I could have ever saw myself getting out of prison the way I did because it was only faith. Like I'm gonna get out somehow, some way. But the hopeless thing about prison is that every time you file something or think you got a way to get out, they shut the door, right? And you got to have something bigger than you. And for me, that was God, right? So my mother passed at 42 from cancer while I was 21 in prison. So when she died, it was either to go right or go left, and I chose to go right. Like every letter that she wrote me was saying, "Don't give up. God gonna get you out of this, et cetera, et cetera." And I had already took her through a lot by going to jail, getting our houses kicked in for selling drugs out the house, getting our houses shot up. I was a gang member. She would move in an opposite gang neighborhood, and they were shooting our house, so she had to find us somewhere to move. I took her through a lot. So only thing she was asking me was to not give up, to never give up. And I'm like, I owe her this. I can give up now that she gone, or I can just do what she wanted me to do, even though she gone. So I chose to do what she wanted me to do, and I got my life together. Nothing happened overnight, but in time, the more spiritual I got, the more I had something that was bigger than every denial that the court gave me. So when I held on to my spiritual walk, it was belief, because even then it was still denial after denial. And I was fighting on three fronts. I was trying to go to college and prison, which I didn't have the money for. It wasn't no Pell Grants. My associate's degree cost $18,000, which I couldn't pay for. I was trying to get out of prison. That was the main battle. And then three, I was trying to get my books published. I had wrote 15 books while I was sitting in prison, but I had no way of getting them published. And my family wasn't in the position either. So I was writing hundreds of letters every week to different publishing companies, hundreds of letters to lawyers, churches, civic organizations, civil rights organizations. And then I was also writing colleges, hundreds of colleges trying to get Pell Grants or trying to get, not Pell Grants, scholarships, trying to find a way to educate myself. And every time I go to the mailbox, denial, 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 denial. But I kept writing those letters, and eventually I found a lady, a good Samaritan, who had a little library, and she agreed to pay for my college. So she paid for she paid $18,000 to get my associate's degree. And then I was working on my bachelor's degree, and I found another person on the East Coast, a professor. He paid the rest, right? So that's faith, just to keep going no matter what, no matter how many odds you got against you. The publishing thing, it took me 20 years to get my first book published, but I self-published it. And then in 2020, I self-published 6 of my other books while I was still in prison. So even though I had no way of getting out of prison, my dreams were still coming true. And then eventually the judge who sentenced me to 241 years came back, said that she made a mistake and she wanted me out of prison. And Missouri, the state of Missouri was like, well, the law is the law. He's stuck in prison. So she went to the media. She went international news outlets, et cetera, et cetera. And then over 300 judges across the country wrote the Supreme Court and asked them to let me out. Prosecutors, just a whole bunch of influential people, the Attorney General of the United States, everybody was asking the U.S. Supreme Court to let me out, but they just denied it with no opinion or nothing. So that really sealed the deal. Now, it was over. Missouri is a very conservative state controlled by Republicans, and they anti-crime, and so it's harshness on crime, not to help criminals get out of prison, but somehow one of these Republicans stepped up and came and said he was going to get me out, and he got legislation. He worked with a Democrat, and they got a bill passed that was inspired by my case to allow any juvenile who was under 18 to go for parole after they served 15 years. So far, a few hundred inmates have got relief under that bill that passed. So I was able to do that, inspire that type of movement from a jail cell. So that means out here we can do anything that we put our minds to. And it goes back to spirituality, right? It goes back to belief in God, because right in front of you, if you want to, just say if you had a dream that cost $1 million to open up a college, anything, how you gonna get the money? It seems impossible. Everything always seems impossible until you have a dream with divine backing. Because I say divine backing because if your dream is right and it's gonna help people, I think God will help you do it, right? But you got to have faith, because when you're trying to set out to do it, there's nothing there to say you're gonna be able to do this. Everything says no, no. You get all these denials. It's just like you trying to buy a house loan and your credit is not up to par. And house that you want costs $100,000. Your credit is only 20,000, whatever. It can be anything. It's just whatever dream that we have, we got to believe in God and faith, and that's how I'm sitting here today. That's how I got out of prison. The judge who told me I was going to die in prison, God put it in the heart to come back and say, okay, I made a mistake. The victims didn't oppose me getting out, and the prosecutor wrote a letter to the parole board asking the parole board to let me out. And all this came full circle. But when I was trying over the years, all the denials, I couldn't see this. What was I being a good prisoner for when I was never getting out of prison? That's faith again, because you want to be good because you changed. Your heart has changed. And that's the struggle of life, right? You do things, people can't see what you're doing. And if you're seeking a reward, you may not get it the way you're looking for it. Like me, I never thought they would ever change the law in Missouri, inspired by my case. I thought I was going to get out through the courts, but it didn't happen that way. So God always make the impossible possible. He make a way out of no way. When you thinking it may happen this way, it comes from this way. And he put people on your side that you never would thought that would help you, because I never thought the judge would ever come back and say she made a mistake. I never thought a prosecutor would write a letter in support. And I didn't know how the victims felt. But when you doing the right thing, somehow things come together. It just don't seem that way for years. This is not an overnight thing. It's for years and years and years. And it's only people with faith that can see, because right in front of you, every time I went to the mailbox to get my mail, denial, denial, denial. But that never discouraged me. It just encouraged me to keep going, to keep fighting, and to keep going. And now I'm sitting right here because I kept going. And then hundreds of other inmates got a chance from that legislation, if they change their life, to get out of prison. So one person, we can do a lot if we just stand on faith, right? Because God got a mission for each one of us, and that's how I approach life every day. And the work that I'm doing now currently is that I have a nonprofit. It's called Dear Mama. My nonprofit, the first book I wrote was my mama autobiography. She passed away when I was in prison. I wrote her life story, but it's a tribute to all single mothers and mothers in general, and a warning to kids to appreciate your mother, because when she gone, right? In that book, 20 years later, I created a nonprofit called Dear Mama, and I go around St. Louis twice a month giving clothes, toys, books, and shoes and food to single mothers and their families, right? And also I go to the juvenile detention centers and teach writing workshops to use my story to inspire youth to create their own business and just stay out of trouble, because this is one route and this the consequences. I go into sober living homes and talk to those people that's using drugs. And the work, it just continues. I just keep doing work. Like here today, this is a form of ministry. It's a form of talking to people, but inspiring hope, because we all need hope. And hope is what kept me going during those 241 years and got me out of prison. I'm on parole right now. I still got 241 years, but I'm free. So anything's possible, right?
What an absolutely amazing story. And it just always seems like you kept saying it's going back to faith. And one thing for me, I know you mentioned that it's bigger than you ever expected. So do you think that sometimes when you're kind of, I don't want to say you lost your faith because it was always there, but maybe you kind of lost the strength in your faith? What did you do, and how did you get back into that motivation space that you were in before? Because so many rejections, that's got to take a toll on you after a while. You say you used it as motivation, but what was kind of going on in your mind?
What was going on in my mind is that I was in solitary confinement for years. That's when you locked in the cell for 24 hours a day. One time they sent me to solitary confinement for writing colleges to ask for money. They said I was soliciting funds, right? And until I stopped writing those letters, they wouldn't let me out of solitary confinement. But things like that was like, okay, keep going. Just keep going. Like, though there is dark days, but the dark days don't make you lose faith because you begin to question God, which I didn't do. I just be like, even not even trying to ask him why, just trying to find another way because it can be a song. I'll be depressed for 2 days and hear a certain song and be like, okay, that's it. Get back up and keep jogging. Get back up, keep working out, keep writing letters. I can watch an inspirational movie. But for me, more than likely, it was those things sometimes, but the majority of the time it was a book. It was a certain page I read or a certain chapter or a certain scripture, and that's all I needed. It's like, okay, the depression is over with, the darkness is over, bam, and get back up and keep trying to do what I was doing. That's how I stayed motivated. Never questioned faith. It only got stronger. The more some try to be suppressed or taken away from you, the stronger your faith grows, and that's how I got through that journey.
So in Unity, we talk a lot about the 12 powers, and those are powers that exist within us that we can call upon at any time to help us when we need them. And one of the powers is faith, and it sounds like that's one of the powers that you relied on most during this situation. I would say also the power of strength, because it took a lot of strength to continue fighting after receiving sort of the communication that you were, the feedback that you were getting. Another power is one of elimination, and I was curious if there was anything that you had to eliminate in your thinking or in your mind, any blocks you had to get you on this path.
Yeah, every day you had to battle against ignorance in prison because actually that's the most negative environment in the world. It's a lot of noise, a lot of chaos, a lot of violence. And to mix all that, here I am reading books like a nerd, right? Here I am with these books in my hand, people getting, it's all type of stuff going on right in front of me. So I got to put the book down every blue moon to look up to make sure it ain't right here because violence is everywhere. It could be in my cell. It could have been towards me, but I was lost in those books. I was in that world. That was my sanctuary. I was in the law library every day. You could be a nerd in prison, but you still got to be standing on something. And when you're standing on spirituality, that's the most powerful thing in the world because you fearless in that type of environment when you feel like you got something. It got to be bigger than you because when you're that young in a maximum security violent prison, there's nothing you can do to survive but have something stronger than you because everything around you is bigger than you. The men bigger than you. I was skinny. I was young. So what was bigger than me was a belief that somehow something's going to come out of this good. And everything around you said ain't, but you just got to have a still voice on the inside to say, keep going. And you got to have that voice. It got to be stronger than the negativity around you. So I tuned all that negativity out. And my strength was in the belief that I had something in me to do something in life, but I didn't know what it was then. It was a seed there. It was germinating. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was lost. But it was something there that's like, man, keep going, keep trying to find what you need to find in life. And that's how I got through. I don't know the name of the 12 principles y'all need, but each one of those principles more than likely has something to do with my journey of being able to sit here today.
Thank you. And I wanted to kind of tie it up here with one last question. A lot of people might have just gotten out and said, I'm done with this. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. You know, I want to forget all about this and move on. But what inspired you to live the Unity Fifth Principle, which is essentially Gandhi's be the change you want to see in the world? What led you to that? Because you could have just washed your hands of it and walked away. Why didn't you do that?
Activism or belief in change, it becomes bigger than you. When you walk into a prison or with a life sentence, you never get out, and you're talking about change out in the world. And here it is now, I'm out to do that change. There's no excuse. Now I'm out here. I can't forget about those guys that was doing life with me. They gave me stamps when I was writing out those hundreds of letters. I didn't have money. Them stamps came from fellow prisoners, people that was convicted of worse things on earth. But they changed, though, and it's hard for society to see that. I got to be the person that helps society see that some of these guys are worthy of a second chance, even though they made mistakes. these single mothers, my mother was a single mother. We didn't have giveaways back a lot in the 80s. They didn't do where you see people giving away stuff on every other corner on certain days. We didn't have a lot of that. So now I got to give back to these single mothers because I was one of those kids that didn't have no food, didn't have the things we needed. So that becomes a part of you breathing to give back and to get out to do the work because you can't ever forget when you walked the yard 27 years. You can't ever forget when you was that hungry little kid too. So giving back and doing that work I do, it comes breathing, it's come natural, and I'm just doing my part.
I think it's because of love. To me, I hear you talk as coming from a place of love. So I can really, truly appreciate the work that you do, that you continue to do. There are many people that are inspired by your work. I had invited a few today, but I wanted to introduce you right here in the front row to Julian Jackman. You may see he's got a brand new place down right there on the corner of Ash and Providence, and he is the director of Peace. Peace stands for people embracing another choice effectively, and he's also been inspired because of his experience to help other people as they reenter society. So it's been absolutely amazing the work that these gentlemen have done. A lot of people may have just turned the other cheek and walked away and said, I've been so hurt, I don't want to be involved. But they've really come from a place of love, and it really does touch me in such a way that it's like fire, it's like a flame. It spreads on and on. And there's many more people that are constantly being impacted by Bobby's law, Bobby's love, Bobby as a person, Bobby's humanity, his spirituality, the whole package. So it really has been an absolute pleasure to speak this morning and share Bobby's story with you. So thank you so much, Bobby. I really appreciate it.
Please stand and join me in singing. We have come together as a family. We
for your inspiration, I also saw there were books out there that people can check out after the service. This is the time of the service when we put ourselves into the law of circulation, knowing that in order to receive, we must give. This morning, you're invited to support your spiritual community and consciousness. I now ask you to take your offering, whether you give electronically, by check or cash. Hold it in your hand or in your heart as we say these words together. Divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful. We have two symbols of blessing today. First is the love offering given this morning. We bless these gifts and are grateful for this opportunity to make a difference in the lives of our spiritual family and the world. Second is the prayer box. In prayer, we expand our awareness that we are expressions of God, and we receive an abundance of all that we need to fulfill our soul's purpose. Now's the time in the service that we hold others in prayer. Please speak your loved one's name aloud so we can collectively hold space. For all the names on our heart, know that you are heard and seen in our collective God mind. Filled with that abundance, please rise and sing with us our prayer of protection.
God is here, the light of God surrounds us. God is here, the love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.
We have 2 Unity chaplains who will be available after the service to pray with you today if you need. As you move into your week, I invite you to show up in the world as you were wonderfully and beautifully made, in joy and in pure love. Wherever you are, God is.